since my last update, which was just the first trimester recap. So that ended, I guess, when I was 13 weeks, but this last 6 or 7 weeks has just been really emotional for me. And I kind of just wanted to talk about not only I want to talk about like the fun symptoms and things like that, but I also just definitely want this to be a very real, I don't know, I want to document this for myself. So I'm filming this, hoping to share it with the world, but also just sort of treating it as like a video journal for myself, to process all of these emotions. And something that I want to say before getting into it is a couple things. One, I never want to come across as ungrateful. I'm so excited to be pregnant, and if you are struggling to get pregnant, I am so sorry, and I can't imagine what that's like. So I never want to come across that way. I just really want to share like my true, raw, honest feelings. I didn't know that all of this would come up during pregnancy. So yeah, let's get into it. So 16 weeks, Michael and I went on our baby moon, which was really fun. I did vlog it, so you may have already seen it. If not, it's a fun one. We went down to Florida, pretty chill. My parents have a beach house, and we just went to like some yummy places and hung out, relaxed. But when I was there, it was the first time I experienced round ligament pain, which is just like under your belly, this really sharp, tight pain. I don't really know how to explain it. You can Google it and read about it, but that was the first time that I felt it, and it was not fun. But thankfully, I really only felt it for a couple hours on the first night we were there, so luckily it didn't continue. Also, super itchy, and I don't know, I'm itchy all over. This week 16, it was really extreme, and then kind of from there out, it's been like hit or miss. Like each day is kind of, one day I will be, one day I won't, but just like really itchy skin. And it's just because your skin is expanding. And for me, like it's just, my stomach has grown a lot over these last 6 or 7 weeks. So that makes sense why it would be itchy. But while we were at the beach, I also felt like my appetite spiked a lot. But now looking back, I'm just wondering if it spiked because we were going out to eat to all these places and I was really excited about it, and we were outside and the sun makes me hungry, and we were walking a lot on the beach, or I was. It's so hard to get Michael to walk with me sometimes. 17 weeks was a really tough one. So I wrote down a lot of mental breakdowns, depression, anxiety, which is stuff we'll get into later. But a lot of stuff just came up with week 17. 18 weeks, I did feel the first kicks. So I found out when I went to the doctor for my 20-week anatomy scan that I have an anterior placenta, which makes it harder to feel the kicks, which makes sense because I was talking to some people and they'd felt it a lot earlier, and every time I would feel it, I wasn't quite sure if it was a kick or not. They just feel like little popcorn bubbles in your stomach, and sometimes it'll just be like one little tap, so you're just wondering if it's a gas bubble, is it a kick, like what is it? But definitely, and now I feel them all the time. Yesterday was the first time Michael actually saw him kick. He didn't get to feel it, but we both saw it because I was like, he's kicking so much, you have to come watch. And so that was cool for him because he has yet to like feel his kicks. Also week 18, I did start lifting weights again. So back into mostly my full workout routine, definitely still modifying some things, doing like 85% of the weight that I was lifting before because I don't want to strain myself or anything. And I'm not really trying to do anything where I'm like jumping around a lot. I know some people are comfortable with it, but I think I'm just one of the people on the more hesitant side, or like more cautious when it comes to things like that. So I'm not really running or doing jumping jacks or type of like that HIIT cardio anymore. I'm mostly just lifting weights and walking. Week 19, it's a rough week because I'm reading it and I put down horrible sleep, nausea is back, leg cramps, and always feeling like I have to pee, but it's never satisfying. And what I mean by that is it feels like you've been holding your pee like you're on a long car ride with like your friends or family, and you've just been holding it, waiting to get to the rest stop, but then you get to the rest stop and you pee and it's like 3 drops. So it's like the pain with never feeling the relief of actually peeing. It's so weird. I don't know if he's just sitting on my bladder. I don't know what it is, but that's continued on till now, but that started at week 19. Leg cramps. So I woke up with like a Charlie horse and I thought maybe I was just dehydrated, but I had the Bump app and they literally, the day I hit week 19 in my app, it said that you'll start getting leg cramps. So it was just really crazy how spot on those apps are sometimes. So I did get that. And then yeah, sleep just was off. It's back to normal now though, so that just lasted a week. Week 20, so that's where I am now. And the beginning of this week, I was like starving and I could eat like 3 lunches in one sitting, like what I would normally have for lunch times 3. And just, I would basically just have to stop and walk away because I feel like I could just keep eating and eating and eating, and whatever I was eating was the best thing ever. So I just feel like maybe he's going through a growth spurt or something like that, but that's kind of died down as well. Like I'm still eating more than I was pre-pregnancy, but I haven't had any of those like insatiable hunger episodes for a couple days. Oh, and then yeah, we did have our 20-week anatomy scan, which was really fun. Definitely confirmed he is a boy. And Michael was actually allowed to come into that with me, which was awesome because with how things are right now in the world, they haven't been allowing him to come in, but he is allowed to come in for the 20-week, and then I'll go back in 4 weeks for another one. So I'm not sure if he'll be allowed in that one as well, but it was fun that he could actually come finally and see the ultrasound, not on FaceTime or something like that. So that's kind of like a quick recap of the things. If that's all you're interested in, then you can stop here. But what I've been like nervous about, I guess, is kind of sharing more of the personal stuff with just the weight gain and having a history of disordered eating and my mental health journey. So I don't really talk about it that much, but I do have really, really bad anxiety and I take medicine for it. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I'd heard a lot about postpartum depression, but I didn't really realize how bad it can get, or anxiety during pregnancy. I've always been a little bit more concerned, like what's going to happen after, like what if I like don't have a connection with this baby and I'm super depressed, and like I hear horror stories. And I just feel like since I've already suffer with this normally, that I'm like, I don't know, predisposed to having postpartum depression, which that's not for sure going to happen, but it's just where my mind goes. And these last 6 weeks have just been really emotional for me. Having a history of disordered eating, I guess I was like a little bit naive going into this and thinking like, oh, I'll just be so happy that like I'm building this baby and all of this and it won't even faze me. But there's definitely been instances that have come up that have been really challenging for me, and I've had to just like hush that voice in my head. For me, it's always been a coping mechanism. So because I have anxiety, I channeled it into my disordered eating and my workout addiction. It was just a way for me to manage my anxiety. So going through therapy and all of that was a way for me to get that under control and learn different coping mechanisms. So then I was relying less and less on the exercise and the food and like counting calories and all of that, because it was just an obsession to like cure the anxiety. Like it was, some people have like OCD where they need to clean or do this or that, and I feel like I just channeled everything into my workouts and my eating. So I think it was just a little bit naive of me to think, oh, like it won't even affect me at all. And I wish I could say, you know, I'm just so over the moon, like grateful that God chose me to be this baby's mom, that I could care less. Like give me 100 pounds on my body and I won't care. But it just kind of came up at the 16-week appointment because the weight that I'd gained was just at a number I had never seen before on the scale. And I think it was just a little bit of a shock to me. And personally, I love doctors. I think they're great. Nothing against them. I just don't think they always have the best bedside manner. So when I was kind of talking through all of that with her, I was like, you know, I've gained X amount of pounds over the past 4 weeks. Like last time I checked in, I was here and now I'm here. Is everything okay? Like, should I be worried? And she was like, well, you've actually gained this much, and it was more than the number that I even thought, because I guess the weight that they started me at was a different number than I had in my head. So not only did she not answer my question about, is this safe or is everything okay? Like, I wanted to just make sure like this was a normal weight. But she like kind of just stomped all over me by telling me that my weight gain was actually higher than I even thought, which I was already processing. So that just kind of like put me in a weird mood. And I know originally in that first video that I filmed, I was saying, you know, oh, like it hasn't bothered me at all, like everything's great. And now that I'm going through more of it and actually seeing how much my body's changing, there have definitely been days. Is depression and anxiety during pregnancy. I'm just taking it one day at a time. Some days I'm over the moon excited, like cannot wait to meet this baby. My life is gonna be so enriched and everything's like happy and positive. And then there's other days where I feel like I'm mourning the loss of my current life, or what is my business going to look like, or do we have enough space in this house, or just random things start like taking over and I get sad thinking about what I'm going to leave behind. And it's not because I'm not happy and thankful to be pregnant, it's just how I'm feeling. And if there's anything I've learned, it's that your feelings are valid no matter what. You don't need to Google and see if what you're feeling makes sense. Because you are feeling it, it's a valid feeling. And I can be both excited and anxious and depressed all at the same time, because that's like pregnancy for you in a nutshell. It's just feeling so many feels, like it's just a roller coaster of emotions. One day you're on cloud 9, the next hour you're just crying over something stupid, and I just wasn't prepared for that. And so as someone, like I said, that deals with anxiety and depression already, it's just kind of thrown me for a loop. So I have to make sure that like I'm on point with taking care of my mental health, with taking breaks away from work, when I need to step away from Instagram, when I need to step away from my blog or recipes or whatever it is that's causing too much stress or overwhelm. And then even doing something like this, which like I said, this is kind of like, I feel like a therapy session for me right now to just get all of this out. But it's been a lot, and I just hope that this video can better prepare somebody for all the feelings that you're gonna have, because I definitely wasn't ready for them. And you're not crazy if you're feeling them. You're not crazy for feeling anything that you're feeling. You're pregnant and your hormones are crazy, and if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, they probably have not experienced it, because I know that until I've experienced this, I would have never understood it either. I think what adds another level of anxiety to all of this is that you're immediately responsible for another human's life. And so you can't just go on with your day. I mean, obviously there's things you know that you have to give up, like alcohol or whatever. And I'm not sad about giving those things up. Like, I would give up sushi for the rest of my life if it meant keeping this baby healthy. That part isn't what stresses me out. What makes me anxious is feeling like, oh my gosh, did I microwave the turkey long enough? Because you can't eat like cold deli meat anymore. So every time I'm eating sandwiches, I'm microwaving it. And I'm like, what if it wasn't hot enough? Like, what if I didn't kill all the listeria? Or did I strain myself too much when lifting up the groceries? Like, your mind is constantly running with the possibility of something that you could do wrong to harm this little baby that you're now responsible for. And it's just a lot of pressure, especially for someone like me who's like pretty much type A, like on the Enneagram, type 1, perfectionist. I want to do everything right. And I know I won't. I know I'm going to screw up. I know that's how it's going to continue on in this baby's life. I'm not going to be a perfect mom at all. But it can just be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, the amount of opportunities there are to screw up. I just want to share that because that's kind of what I've been going through the past 6 weeks, is some days feeling like on top of the world, can't wait to meet it, like just let's have the baby right now today, like I'm ready to be a mom. And then literally the next, in an hour, I'm crying because feel like I'm not going to be an adequate mom, and I'm fearful of everything that's to come. It can be really hard because I do see a lot of people that are pregnant that, you know, have wanted to be a mom their whole life. Like, that was their goal. They just want to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of this baby, have like 5 kids. And I'm like, you know, after this one, I might be done. Like, I have no idea. Like, I didn't even know if I wanted kids. And so I think that can be hard when you're constantly comparing yourself to the people that, you know, were like, die hard, I'm gonna be a mom, that's all I want to be. And you're trying to talk to them like, hey, did you ever feel like depressed when you were pregnant? And they're like, about what? And you're just like, you know, you're right, about nothing. There's nothing, everything's great. But on a positive note, I always want to end on a positive note. Like I said, I have my 24-week checkup, which I'm very excited. It's kind of like a bonus ultrasound for me because they didn't get all the pictures that they needed at the 20-week scan. I guess he was just not cooperating, and for all the stuff they need to do it again. So I don't know, I think we might have to pay for it again, which would be a downside, but exciting because we get to see him again. And we will get to start on the nursery now, which is exciting. I've been kind of putting it off because I just wanted to be like 1,000,000,000% sure that it was a boy, which I know sounds crazy, but we did the early testing and it was like boy, and it's apparently never wrong if it's a boy. I think it's only been wrong when they say it's a girl and it's not. But also just, I don't know, the fear of miscarriage or something going wrong. I just wanted to hit the 20-week mark and then kind of like hit the ground running. So we're gonna start working on the nursery, which is great. I know I said that in the last video, but it's really gonna happen now. Nausea's gone, which is awesome. Workouts again, like happening. So everything's getting a lot better. And there's a lot to look forward to. So I will try to keep you guys updated and just keep it as honest as possible because it's an experience that I could have never imagined, the good and the bad. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe so you never miss another video. And until next time, I will see you next time.